Hi everyone, I've been wanting to do this video for a little bit now. Pretty much on a daily basis, I am getting messages asking what is the difference between a clump of hosta, a plant, and a bare root. So when I sell my plants, I generally go for $3 per plant. Some of the smaller varieties, more common ones, I'll go between $1 and $3 per plant. The reason I do this is for a few things. If you were to purchase this hosta at a plant vendor, you are going to get a quart, and it's going to have about 2 plants in it, maybe 3. They may be mature, they may not be. They're going to be grown in very typical growing soil. It's going to be nutrient dense, but it's not going to be the soil that you're getting at that you're going to have at your house. So these plants may not do so well in your soil because it's going to kind of shock them. What I do is I go and I will dig up plants, hostas that people don't want, whether they're just not growing in that particular location and they don't want them anymore. They wanted to put new plants in there. The deers are constantly eating them. They want them removed, they want them split. I'll go over and I will dig them up for them. I will split them or remove them for free. I don't ask for anything. Most of the time it is for people who can't do it themselves, because people who can do it themselves, well, sometimes they just will do it themselves. And so all I ask in return is to take some portion of the plant that I split, or if I'm removing them, if I could take all of the plants and I could sell them. This helps to give my kids a little bit of spending money in the summer. It's something that my kids are really kind of taking a liking to. And anyways, so I sell my plant or my hostas by the plant, because this is what a single plant looks like. Give me 1 second here. I have my little pool. I'm gonna flip this around so you guys didn't flip very well. But this is one single plant. Yes, it's very tiny with this particular variety. I have other varieties that are a little bit larger. You'll see this variety right here. Each one of these little spikes is a plant. And for instance, this one, if you were to buy something called a hosta bare root, this is what it would look like. It wouldn't even have this growth on it yet. It would literally just be the roots. And Lowe's is currently selling these bare roots for, you'll get 3 bare roots for $25. Yeah, so 3 of these little guys for $25. And I sell them for 3. Now, a grouping or a clump is different. That is going to be something like this with multiple hosta in it. If you're new to hostas, what you need to know is that this is going to give you a very nice grouping of plants, and it's going to be very full looking for your hostas. This, on the other hand, for size comparison, there's my hand. It's about 1 foot long and maybe 1 foot wide. That grouping has way too many plants in it. And when it goes to bloom this year, what's going to happen is that all of these little ones inside here are going to get choked out. And these plants on the end are going to be the ones that you're going to see. So all of these that you're going to pay for, that you guys want to pay for when you're asking me for a clump, you're not even going to see those, because they're so compact in there that they just won't get enough nutrients, they won't get enough sunlight, and eventually they won't bloom at all. Sometimes you'll see in hosta where it even will die out in the center. And let me see if I have one of those. Give me 1 second. Yes, I do, actually. So this guy right here, you can see, let me get my pail. You can see where it looks like there's dead parts in here. and there's not much really growing. And that's because it can't. It has nowhere else to grow. These are so compacted that they have to be split. Hostas will double in plant size, individual plant size about twice. Meaning like you'll plant them 1 year, the following year you'll have twice the amount, approximately, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. But after a while, when they get so big, they will start to die. And it's actually quite harmful to your plant to leave them without splitting. So that's where my job comes in, and I come and I split them for you, and I break them down into nice little clumps like this, where you are going to have a full bloom. Okay, this is even a little bit more than what I would recommend, but this is plenty for this particular variety. You're gonna have a full bloom, a full looking plant, and a mature looking plant, and you have multiple different plants instead of purchasing one. Sure, I will give you that. I will sell that to you. But is it gonna look great? Not really. Is it worth it for you to purchase this? No. If you were to purchase a mature, full plant like this size at a plant store, you're going to be paying in almost the hundreds of dollars per clump. That's why I am willing to sell these clumps to people, but it is much more manageable for you to plant this in your garden and in 2 years have a nice solid clump. Purchase by the individual plant. Now these guys are quite tiny, so I don't feel comfortable actually selling these for $3 a plant. So I have come down on these, and I'm almost at doing about 50 cents per plant, but they're still going to be a very good size hosta. They're just tinier leaf varieties. This particular hosta grouping came from a place where the deer were constantly eating it, and so it didn't get much time to actually grow and mature the plants. All right, if you guys have any questions, just send me a message, but I really wanted to kind of go over this and let you guys know why I price things the way I do. The other thing too is if you're splitting up your hosta on your own, and I've had people ask me this too, how do I split the grouping? I use a pool like this, or you can use a wheelbarrow, fill it with some water, take it in there, shake it. Saw how full that was. I'm gonna shake it again. You see how quickly and easily they split up? Each clump is not one plant. You see, look at this, watch. I'm just gently pulling, I'm not breaking anything. Here's the individual plant right there. Okay, guys? So that is the easiest way that I have figured out to split these hosta here. Some of the bigger varieties are a little bit more difficult, like this guy over here. But if you let them soak, I promise they're not gonna die on you. You don't wanna keep them in there for, forever. You do want to eventually plant them, but same thing with this guy. Let me see if I can get a one off for you here. These guys are pretty mature. See, these ones are dead over here. Well, they're not quite dead, but they're not gonna flower this year. So you just wiggle, 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 and out they come, okay? There's your bare root that you would be ordering from Lowe's for $25. You'd get 3 of those. These guys have much thicker roots. This root ball was massive, as you can see. And hostas are extremely resilient, which means that it's gonna be quite difficult for you to kill this plant. It takes a lot, and they usually come up year after year. So even if you mess the first year up of splitting, they're gonna come back beautiful the next year. So really don't worry about it. All right, so you see how this grouping right here is starting to split? It's kind of hard to do with one hand and my phone, but just pry it apart If you want to keep removing some of the dirt that was on top, that was in between, you can do that. Let me get my guy right here. It is not going to hurt your plant to do this. Just remember though, when you go to plant, after you've split, especially this way, you do want to give it a lot of nutrients. So if you have a fertilizer that you like to use, go ahead and put some of that in there or in your soil. I prefer to use organic stuff. I will use Miracle Grow every once in a while, I know, for my own plants, but preferably with plants that I'm giving to other people, we'll use ash from our burn pit. Here's one that's gonna come off pretty nice. As I said that it's gonna give me a hard time, of course. But you can see the roots starting to come out. And it's actually quite a rainy day, so these aren't that bad to do on a rainy day because it does make it easier to come. See, I'm pulling, twisting, and up the roots come. You can start pulling some out. You might hear a little bit snapping, that's okay. It actually encourages new root growth if you do break some of it off. So I don't want you to worry about that. I do have to go get my kid in a minute. So keep pulling. And out it comes. This is 2 plants. Actually, that's more than 2 plants because the bare root, that would be considered one, that would be considered one over there, and one here. But this is something that I would sell for $3 right here. I'm not gonna make you pay for all of 4 of those. I think that's silly. They're in a nice little grouping. It'll give you 2 plants, and that is something that I would give to somebody for $3, all right? If you want something that is in a big clump like this, just let me know. If you are willing to take it home and split it up yourself because you are going to use a big clump in, like, you know, you want to split it up into multiple areas, sure, I will give you a discount for it because it's less work that I have to do. So just be honest with me. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you want, what you don't want, and I will give you a price. The other thing too is because I do this before a lot of these guys bloom, and the reason why I like to do it before they bloom is because your plant is going to look fuller and these little guys aren't going to get hurt. They're protected right now because they're closed up, and so their leaves are not going to get damaged. Once they bloom, the possibility of their leaves being damaged while splitting is very, very high. So it is not something at all that I like to do, split when the leaves are actually up and flowered. It's not recommended. It's more harmful for the plant, so I tend to start early and do this. But because I dig up plants from other people, I don't always know what variety I have. I can take a guess as to what it's going to look like. I can ask the person, do you have pictures of your hostas from last year, what they might look like, about how big are they? Are they a large variety? Are they variegated, meaning green, white, multiple color, not just green and white, could be green and yellow. I don't always have the same thing. So if you come to me one year and you got one specific plant and you want more, unfortunately, I can't always guarantee that I have that exact variety because I get new ones every year. I do plant some on my property, the ones that I really, really like, or if I've never seen a variety before, I'll plant that. But I typically don't plant a large chunk of it. I plant a small one because they do duplicate every year. So please purchase what you need, what you want, what you think you want. I would rather you purchase it and you say to me later, I didn't need all of these plants. Can I have my money back? And I will give you the money back as long as the plant's not dead. I will give you the money back if you return the plant. So I would rather you do that and get what you want now while I have it than get a bunch of different things that you're not gonna like. All right, so that's all. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good day.